Hello everybody, this is Kisha with Crafty Sweet, and for today's video I'm going to be filming the make and takes for July using the Sweet as a Peach bundle. This is the stamp set, and then these are the coordinating dies. So we have 4 cards today, 2 of which are going to be like a technique-y type card, and so I'm going to walk you through how to make both of those cards. But before we get started with that, let me go ahead and show you where the bundle is in the catalog. This is the new annual catalog. Let's see, Sweet as a Peach on page 61. Let me show it to you really quick because there's some designer series paper with this bundle that we're going to be using. So it's on page 60 and 61. So this is the Sweet. So if you notice in your annual catalog, and I've mentioned this before, there is an item number under the Sweet. If you put in this item code right here, this 155831, you'll get everything that's in this collection. So that includes the bundle. So you get the stamp set, the dies, the designer series paper, and you also get these mini jam jars. So that entire Sweet is only $57.25. So that is an awesome deal. Stamp set, die set, the designer series paper, and those mini jam jars. We're not using the jam jars in this in the July make and take, but we are using the stamp set dies as well as the coordinating designer series paper. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So again, it's a stamp set and dies. Let me give you an overview of the cards that we're going to make really quick. So if you want this make and take, all you have to do is make a qualifying purchase in my store, craftysweet.stampinup.net. I'll put the link below. But my team members that may be watching this will get this at a discounted price of just $10. So the first card we're going to do is called the book binding card. I'm sure you guys have seen this book binding technique on the internet because it's popping up like everywhere. So I'm going to show you how to make the book binding card. This is called, I guess it's not a technique. It's one sheet of designer series paper, but I call it the tear and switch technique. So this is one sheet of paper, and I'm going to show you, I tear it in half, and then I use the opposite pages to make this background. So we're going to do that. And then for this card, I'm going to show you how to do the rock and roll technique using 2 different colors to get that peach looking even more realistic. It's realistic if you just stamp it by itself, but just that little bit of ink around the edges make this card stand out, I think. So we're going to do that one. And then the last one is this card right here. So your make and take is going to come just like this in a clear bag. You get the make and take, and then I also send you the PDF instructions. So this is on Balmy Blue cardstock, and you'll notice throughout I think just about every one of the cards I use the Artistry Blooms sequins. So I think that coordinates very well with this suite of products. Okay, so those are the 4 cards. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one we're gonna make is this one, using the Balmy Blue card base, and this one says thanks so much. This is a 8.5 by 5.5 card base, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Okay, I'm also pulling in another die set called the Stitched So Sweetly, and I think I've used the Stitched So Sweetly dies on just about every card in this make and take. So this is the largest rectangle, scallop rectangle that we're using from this die set. Okay, so we're going to do our stamping on that, and then we have a sheet of designer series paper, and this is 4 1/4 by 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start first by applying, I'm going to adhere my designer series paper down. I know my work surface is looking a little different. Y'all know, if you follow me on YouTube that and Facebook, that we're in the process of moving, so my card surface is looking a little different. So we're just going to adhere this on the right side just like that. Then I'm going to take you get a piece of white linen thread. I'm gonna wrap this around the top and we're gonna tie a bow. Just like this. I should have bought my glue dots. I don't think I bought my glue dots down here. Oh yes I did, but I've already started tying now. So we're just gonna go with it. I think I can get it tied enough. Okay, yes, that looks good. So I'll trim the ends off in just a second. I'm gonna slide it up just a little bit because I'm gonna need room for my scallop rectangle. Okay, so in the stamp set, you have this image right here. So we're gonna stamp that first in Granny Apple Green, and then we're gonna come in with our peaches. I think the stamp set is so cute. So I'm gonna ink that up in Granny Apple Green. And I did not bring a scratch. Well, you know what? I did not bring a scratch piece of paper, but it'll be okay. So I'm gonna stamp this kind of up, leaving room for my sentiment down at the bottom. So just like that. And then I'm gonna come in with my peaches and I'm gonna stamp that in Calypso Coral. Dab, dab, dab. And let's see. Is it going this way? This way. Hold on. Let's do it like this. Stamp the peaches on. And then use my sentiment. Thanks so much. Down here at the bottom. I'll make sure my thanks so much. Cute, right? Okay, now let's close this up really quick. Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green. Now let's bring in our Stampin' Dimensionals, of course. Let's see. I have a sheet right here. Let's use these first. This card is so easy, so fun. The peaches are fabulous. All right, let's pop some more. Uh-oh, I took the backing off that one. Okay, let's see, one more dimensional. All right, now you're gonna peel your paper backings off and we're gonna adhere this to our card base. And then we're gonna add our sequins. Okay, hold on, I need to move this bow up a little bit so I have room for my scallop. Rectangle just like that. Okay, now the artistry balloons, here they are. I'm telling you, I've been using them a ton. All right, I'm gonna bring out the blue ones. And this is not necessarily balmy blue, but if you put it in, if you use it on this balmy blue and some other colors, like they have that blue tint to it, it all coordinates. So that's why I love the artistry blooms. Okay, so that is it. That is card number 1. And of course you can go, oh, let's trim them tails off. You can go in and you can add a basic white layer on the inside to write your message. All right, so that is card number 1. All right, now next up we're going to do card number 2, and this is a pale papaya card base. Let's put the balloons away and let's bring my stuff. Pale papaya card base, again a sheet of that designer series paper. This designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 2. This piece right here, we're going to use this side, and then this is another rectangle scallop out of the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And then I have I was going to die cut my stem, but I'm not. I think I'm just going to stamp it. And then I have this piece of balmy blue cardstock for my sentiment. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I can start by tying the linen thread. If you notice on the instructions, it's not telling you to tie your linen thread first. You don't have to do it first. You can do it after you adhere everything, because it's just going to be on the fold of this card. So you can do it either before you start doing all your stamping and your adhering, or you can do it after. It's up to you. I'm doing this before just so I can go ahead and get it out of the way. All right, now let's pull this one. I hope you guys can see me. See it, okay? I'll be sure to bring it up in like closer to the camera so you can see. Okay, so this is the linen thread that I just tied just right there on the corner. Now we're going to take our designer series paper. Again, we're going to use this side. So I'm going to add adhesive here. These cards would be so fun to do with the class because they're easy. You can have everybody do everything like one at a time, have everything prepped and ready to go, so they don't have to do any cutting if y'all want to have classes. And then the stamping is really easy. Okay, so here's our scallop label. Now we're going to do that rock and roll technique I was talking about before. So I'm going to need Calypso Coral, and I'm going to need Pale Papaya ink. So when you're doing your rock and roll technique, you always need to start with your lighter color first, because if you start with the darker color first, you stamp that peach and Calypso Coral and then come in with the Pale Papaya, it's going to mess your Pale Papaya ink up. It's going to be dark. So if you go from light to dark, it'll work best. Okay, so we're going to ink up this peach and Pale Papaya, and I need this foam mat just so I can get a good impression. All right, so we're going to ink it up in Pale Papaya first. I'm going to open up my Calypso Coral, and we're going to do the rock and roll technique. Okay, so ink it up in Pale Papaya. And now I'm just going to take the Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to do a motion just like this, and it's just going to get that Calypso Coral around the edges. Okay, so like this. So I'm starting here, and I'm just doing the edges of that peach. So your peach looks like that. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp this. Let's see, right about there. Looks good. Okay, see how realistic is that? Ah, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I'm gonna leave Calypso Coral open because we need to stamp our sentiment in Calypso Coral. So let's go ahead and do that. Let this dry a little bit. And I hope I stamp it this straight. If not, there is a back. It looks good. Okay, so that is drying. Now, let's go ahead and adhere the peach to the card using Stampin' Dimensionals, of course. One, two, three, four, five. Peel your paper backings off, and you're going to adhere it to your card. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to stamp my stem in Granny Apple Green. Can't have a peach without a stem. Let's see, hopefully I can get it on the right. Let's go ahead and adhere this down first. Okay, now let's do this stem. Should I do it this? Let's do it this way. Ah, a little bit. Hold up. Let's see if I can get a little bit more than that. Okay, not the best, but you get the idea. All right, so the stem is up there. Now we can add our sentiment, and I'm just gonna slant the ends just like this and just like that. And then adhere this with dimensionals and add our artistry sequins, bloom sequins, and then we are done with this card. Where are my artistry blooms? So this time I'm pulling out, you get 4 sheets. I'm gonna pull out, let's do this one. This color is pretty. Let's do one here. We'll do one here, and then we'll do a big one like down at the bottom. All right, easy peasy. Card number 2. All right, so that's one. That's the rock and roll. All right, let's do the tear and switch is what I call it. All right, so let's look. We have our Calypso Coral. Excuse me, let's get this out of the way. Calypso Coral card base, and then we have a layer of basic white that's going to layer on the card just like this. But before we put that basic white layer down, we're going to do the tear and switch technique. So this is a sheet of designer series paper, and this piece is what? Let's see. 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. All right, and we're just gonna go on the 5 1/4 inch side, and we're just gonna tear this in half. Right, so we got 2 pieces. So I'm gonna use this piece down at the bottom, and I'm gonna use this piece up at the top. Okay, and you know, like, okay, it's the same like length. Like how is that showing up like it's layered? I'm gonna show you. All right, so you can bring your basic white piece, and this is this basic white is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so let me show you. We're gonna layer this on just like that, and then we're gonna take this piece. We're gonna cover up that seam just a little bit, so we can have. So you have this distance. This is like even all the way around, and then we've covered up that seam. Okay, because we tore it and then we flipped it. So on the instructions, when I say tear and then flip, that's what I mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere that down, and then we'll wrap our ribbon around to cover the seam. Okay, so let's do our snail adhesive. I'm going to adhere this down to the bottom, just like, wait a minute, it looks like it's off to me. Move it down a little bit. All right, now we're going to take this piece. I'm going to put adhesive on this side and adhere this piece down as well. Again, we're going to come in just like this, making sure that it's even on both sides, just like that. So now you have your designer series paper layer on that basic white layer. Okay, now we're going to take our pale papaya. This ribbon, let me see, it's pale papaya, but what is the actual name? Can't remember. This is the pale papaya and white. I don't know, it's just pale papaya. Oh, woven ribbon. Pale papaya and white woven ribbon. So we're going to take that ribbon and we're going to tie a knot to cover up this seam. Just like this. And then we'll trim the ends off in just a second. And then I'll slide it a little bit over, just like this. All right, so you see how that covers up that seam, right? So that's what we're going for. We're gonna take our knot just like this, and we're gonna trim. I don't have my ribbon scissors, so I'm using my snips. Just like that, okay? Now, we have a label here that we're gonna do our sentiment on, and this says, this is gonna be, have a peachy day. So let's pull Have a Peachy Day out. And I am going to, let's clean this block. Because I think we're done with that. We'll use this block. And we're gonna stamp that in cinnamon cider. I didn't pull my balmy blue ink out. We're gonna need that too to dress up this label. This, again, this label is from Stitched So Sweetly Dies, and we're gonna do Have a Peachy Day right there. And I need balmy blue ink. Let's see. I don't have all of my colors. I'm working out of my bag, a Ziploc bag. Okay, here is balmy blue. And if you notice in the stamp set, there's this little image here in this one. I use this one, but you can use that one if you want. All right, let's put this back and let's grab this one. I think we're done with that one. And we're gonna stamp this in balmy blue, just so this label wouldn't look so plain. So I'm just gonna randomly stamp this balmy blue image. And so you can stamp the flower just like, you know, it is in the paper, but I don't know, let's switch it up. I did the flower on the sample, and I stamped off, this time I used balmy blue full strength. Okay, now we have some stamping and some die cutting to do. So let's bring in a scrap piece of basic white, and I need my peach again. Let's close up balmy blue. We're gonna use Calypso Coral. My matte. And then we're gonna stamp our, let's cut that off. I'm gonna run that through, and then I need my stem in Granny Apple Green. And I'm stamping this on a piece of old olive cardstock. You can use old olive or Granny Apple Green, whichever one you prefer. All right, let's close those two up. That is all of the stamping. Let's bring the mini stamping cut and emboss machine in. My dies, my plates. And we need the peach and the stem. All right. The best thing about this machine is being able to travel with it because it's not bulky. I didn't have to bring my I didn't have to pack my big machine up. I'm just using my mini. That can fit in my suitcase. All right, so one thing I didn't pack, I don't think I packed my Post-it tape, so I hope this goes through just fine without moving. And you always, you know, I roll forward and then back just so I can bring it back to me. Okay, that looked good. All right, throw that away. Put the die back on, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the peach. We'll cut our peach out, just like that. And then run it through. Very good. Cute. All right. So we're done with that. Put our die back in here. I have not transferred my new dies to my magnetic sheet, so that's why you guys see that is off a little bit. Okay, now I think we are ready to go ahead and put this card together. Let's go ahead and adhere this to the card base. Our basic white layer and our designer series paper layer, and I'm just going to add Stamp and seal. Please don't run out. You know what? I may run out. Let me go ahead and just use the Stamp and Seal Plus. Just so I don't run out on the video. That's another stamp. All right. Okay. Calypso Coral card base. We're just going to put that down. Just like that. Take our dimensionals and our label on dimensionals. Just like that. Remove our backings. We'll put that like here. Let's see, right about there. Now let's take my peach and pop that up on dimensionals. Remove the paper backings, and I'm going to put this like right here, and then the stem. Where'd you go? Where did the stem go? Right here. All right, now let's put a dimensional on the back, and I'm probably gonna have to cut because I don't see my minis. All right, so stem. And then we're gonna pop this just like, I think I like it like that. Okay, now bring in our artistry balloons again. I'm gonna add three gems or sequins to this card. All right, so this is card number 3. All right, that's the tear and flip, tear and switch, whatever you want to call it, but new technique, easy card layout as well. All right, now for the last card. So this is the bookbinding card. All right, let's put the sequins up here. So you're going to start off with a piece of cardstock. This is a regular standard size card base, so 4 1/4 by 11. You're going to score it on the 11-inch side at 4 1/4. So if you look closely, this is 4 1/4, and then 5 1/2. So 5 1/2 regular card base, and then score it at, you just scored it right here at 4 1/4. Now this is where it is going to get a little tricky. So on my instructions, I said take the card base with the score lines facing you. So score lines facing me, and I'm going to take this flap right here and I'm going to fold back. This is what I mean when I say fold back. Okay, let's bring in bone folder, and I'm just going to crease this. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, you just folded that piece back. When I say adhere, and this 1 1/4 inch piece right here on the inside, you're going to put your adhesive here. Okay, you can use multi-purpose liquid glue, or you can use your Stamp and Seal, whichever you prefer. I'm going to use the Stamp and Seal Plus. I don't want this to go anywhere, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so you're going to put adhesive on the inside just like this, and then you're just going to fold that. All right, so it looks like a book binder. Okay, so your card is going to look like this. This is why you noticed in your packet, your designer series paper is cut like this. Yeah, it's not meant to cover a full sheet. It's only going to go on this right side, and then your other piece is going to go here. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and adhere these 2 pieces down. And pick whichever side of the paper you want to use. I'm going to use this piece. And we're just going to adhere this down equal distance all the way around. Just like that. Now, with this piece, You're gonna, when you lay it down, make sure you got the right side, because the measurements on both, on this side and this side, are fairly the same. So just twist it to make sure you're using the side that you want to use. And this is what I want to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my my adhesive down just like this. And I'm just putting it down. I just want equal distance from the left and the right, and for it to line up with the piece that I already had. Well, you know what? I think I flipped it. See what I mean? That's what I mean when I tell you to make sure you're using the right side. Okay, so we're making sure that this is even up at the top. And you may even have to like butt this up against your seam a little bit. So you see where the seam is right here? So it's not going to be the same distance from here, because you have this space. And just so it can look right, just make sure you just bring it closer to that that score line. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right, now we are ready for stamping, y'all. All right, let's do happy birthday. You know what? I did happy birthday on this one. Let's do thanks so much. Again, use whichever one you want. You can always use a thank you card. Make sure you're stamping on the right side of your label. Again, this is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And I'm going to stamp the thanks so much off to the right a little bit, so I can have room for that the stem and the flowers that I'm going to add to it. All right, so that's what your scrap piece of paper is for. I'm going to use this same image. I'm going to stamp it in Granny Apple Green. Let's see, is that going to fit? Yep, that is going to fit. Granny Apple Green, and then we'll cut that out, and then I'm going to take those flowers right here, and I'm going to stamp those. I need a block. Choose this one. I'm going to do that in Calypso Coral. Just like that. And then we're going to take this small flower that we did on the other card, that we used on the other card, and we're going to stamp some centers in our flowers in cinnamon cider. Somebody needs to clean her blocks. All right, look at that. Isn't that pretty? The center is added to that, to these flowers. It's so cute. Cute, I like that. All right, so let's close this up. All of our stamping is done, and we can bring out the die cutting machine again. And this time in our dies, we need the branch and the flowers. So we need that one and this one. So let's do these first. Now this one, I'm going to be honest with you, I may need probably need that Post-it tape for this one. We're still waiting to get our magnetic plate in. They're working on it. So when we get that magnetic plate, that will make a difference. For the time being though, went to Amazon and bought some Post-it tape. All right, we're gonna run this through. You're gonna see how pretty these flowers are. They cut them out all at the same time. So you got 3 flowers. Pretty. All right, that is scrap. Now let's bring in this piece. Let's layer that on here. I think I got enough room. Just like that. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't move. If it does a little bit, it's okay. I think I just moved it. I think I moved it. Hopefully not. All right. All right. Y'all, we're almost done. Set that to the side, put the dies and scrap. Okay, so now we're ready to layer up. We're gonna adhere our label with dimensionals. Take the paper backings off. And you'll see in a minute why I chose to use this white, because I thought it was too busy. So that's why I'm bringing in this label to kind of break it up a little bit. And then make sure you're putting this over to the right so you have room for this piece, because I want that piece to be just like that. All right, now I'm going to use my Tombow for this, because some of the pieces are going to be on the label, like this one, this piece a little bit, and then this part. The rest I think is going to be hanging off. Let's see, let's do it like that. Probably do. Okay, now we can adhere our flowers. So I want a small one to go like here, and then larger one to go like here, and then I'm going to use this small one to put right there. Like right here. I didn't put I didn't adhere Artistry Blooms to this card, but I'm going to now, because I think it needs a little. Oh, you know what? I don't think I added it, because I put the flowers on here. It's like probably too busy. So y'all decide. If it's not too busy, you think it needs something, then add the Artistry Blooms. They're cute. They coordinate very well with this suite of products. Okay, so that is card number 4. All right, so card number 4. Then we have card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1. All right, guys, so that is it. That is all 4 cards for the Make and Take for July, and all of the instructions, everything that I showed here will be in the directions on that on the PDF. All right. If you guys have any questions, you can put a comment down below, or if you you just want to say how cute the cards are, I'll take that too. So let me know which one is which card is your favorite and which technique is your favorite. And I hope you guys learned something new. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.